This is the 21st season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, AFTCO, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. I think we got all our audio issues fixed. We're good to go. Good guest today. We have him on. I was looking back at it, probably about twice a year. I would consider him to be a BTL regular, and that is one and only Justin Lucas, fresh off of a Summit Cup victory in the Shreveport-Bossier City area with his buddy Brent Ehrler, even though Lucas is a Gunnersville guy now. A little West Coast action there. Definitely some West Coast action with Ehrler and Lucas. And if you could see, I started working. We've gone big time at BTL. We've started doing thumbnails. Thumbnails, thing of beauty. Only took us about 12 years to get to the thumbnails. But I had a picture of both of them. But we got Lucas on today. We're going to talk a little bit about that because it was an old school victory. It was like a 1-2 punch victory in that tournament. We're going to talk about grinding a crankbait. We're going to talk a little bit about finesse flipping, working as a team, catching fish that the guy in front of you isn't targeting, or catching fish that the guy behind you isn't going to catch. So I thought that was a really cool victory. I'm interested in talking with Justin about his opinion on the future of team tournament fishing. We see the high stakes team tournaments that are coming in now, $5,000 entry fees for the 6 events. We've seen how MLF has really kind of had a second season with the 4 Team Series Cups. Seems to be well received by sponsors. So I'll be very interested to get Justin's take on that. And then we're going to dive into a little bit of stuff that we usually only talk about off the record. I think I would put Lucas in the same category as Terry Scroggins at this point. Very versatile griller. He can do large meats like roasts and prime ribs. He can do small meats. He can do steaks. Very adept at poultry, a number of different grilling techniques. So not just a one-trick pony. So I hope he thought I was serious, because I said I would like get your 5 favorite kind of all-purpose seasonings for you use across the board, and we're gonna dive into that. Like we used to dive into, different types of square bills. We're going to dive into this. Like, I don't think he knew I was serious, but look, I have all of my secret seasonings here. Some that I'm, have been sent by BTL listeners, some that are only available in Alaska, some that come in a Ziploc bag that you have to put in, your own jars. Like, I've got a plethora here, and we're going to dive into the seasonings. So does that intimidate you, Justin Lucas, to see that I have a plethora of seasonings at my disposal here?
I am not surprised in this absolute slightest bit, dude. You are a great chef. I haven't even ever eaten any of your food, but from everything I've seen, I think I would enjoy it.
You got to get into the griddle game. Do you have one of the big griddles yet?
I don't have a big griddle, but we have a griddle on our oven or range or whatever.
No, you need a Blackstone.
I know.
Like, it's Christmas is coming up. You can get some deals on them. I'm dead serious. So okay. So the first month of griddles is like when you buy your first glide bait. Like, you really want to use it, but you're not really sure how, but you're also kind of scared to use it because you don't want to lose it, and you don't want to ruin it or ding it off a dock post. And then once you get it seasoned and you've watched enough YouTube videos and Instagram shorts on it, you kind of get comfortable with it, and you learn how to kind of walk it. And then you'll have that first one, eat it, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know you could do this on the griddle. And then and then the world is your oyster on it. Like it is by far and away the best addition in the past year.
I think it's the most versatile cooking tool. I don't even have, I just have this little, I would say it's probably 24-inch one, but it's in the kitchen, so it's easy to use. It's right there, readily available, and we cook on that thing every single day. Like, I can't imagine not having it.
Yeah, you need one outside, man. It's just a little propane deal or direct. You can turn that thing on. Anything that you would cook on the stove or anything, you can now do outside. Yeah. You can do everything all at once. I can cook breakfast for 6 people in 15 minutes.
That's great. Well, now that you're married, dude, you're gonna have to start having some kids soon, and you'll be able to utilize that full space on that griddle.
All right, moving on. Let's talk about some fishing. No,
I hope your wife is watching the show.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. We've been going through some name change issues because she's a flight attendant and a safety auditor and all that for the airline. So like the last 48 hours have been a nightmare. So like her name is Courtney Pangrak. There's like stuff that still says her maiden name on it, and then it doesn't match, and she's dealing with the FFA and flights and all this stuff that all these manifestos have to match. So they're like, hey, your name's changed in this system, but not in this. It's like no one's ever changed their name that's been a flight attendant before.
It's like, hey, at least you're not taking her last name, dude. I got respect for that. Good man over there.
Yeah.
I mean, it is 2020, about to be 2026.
I hear you there. I wanted to get you on last week. If you listen to BTL, I am a staunch supporter of the MLF Team Series. I think it is some of the most compelling, some of the most educational, interesting, and fun viewing, both live and the replay shows. I think you learn more in a Team Series event than you do in an individual event. And personally, as someone who's in the industry, has fished team tournaments and fish individual tournaments, I think that there is a strong future in professional high-level team tournaments. I want to get all your thoughts on that, but first, let's talk about teaming up with Brent Ehrler. A little early on the West Coast for Brent to jump on. I think he's probably on like Christmas vacation or snowboarding or biking or doing something like that. In his defense, I didn't ask him until yesterday. So
he's probably running through the mountains right now, dude. That's what he's doing.
Is he is he a health guy, or is he just a dude who,
dude, if I'm here, he's here.
So he actually like it takes a conscious effort to like eat healthy, work out, stay in shape.
More so than any other professional fisherman.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, hands down, easily the most disciplined eater, and I would say fitness guy out there. Like, I would say Carl, he's way up there right now too, as far as fitness goes, and being disciplined with it. Heck, he just did a marathon, and I think a half marathon, like right after that. So Carl's a stud. But yeah, Ehrler is a stud. We have a couple off days, in those team events. If you're moving on to the next round, you got to kind of sit and wait it out. And we did a couple runs, dude. We did a 6.5 mile run down by the Red River, through these little backwater like bayou things and stuff. It was actually really cool. It was on a wildlife refuge, but we did a 8:40 pace for 6.5 miles, and Ehrler is 48 or 49, and it was no problem for him. Like, the dude he's a beast.
That's impressive. I did not know.
I think that's why he's fishing so well. Like you look at. Put him in the age bracket of guys like 47 to 54 or something, right? Like, he's on the younger side of that. But tell me another guy that is 48 years old right now that's fishing as well. Maybe Ron Nelson. He might be the other guy. But, man, Ehrler he's up there. I don't think he can do it.
No, I mean, dude, his Bass Pro Tour, like AOY finishes, so 3rd, 39th, 4th, 17th, 9th, 18th, 9th. Heavy hitters, doesn't miss heavy hitters.
No, he makes
hasn't
everything.
Sniffed the red crest yet, but yeah, sniffs it, makes everything, is making over $100K a year in earnings on the Bass Pro Tour every single year. Yeah, that's a great point. I just don't think of Brent Ehrler as like one of the older guys out there.
Okay, you don't think of him as one of the older guys, but also think about this. He never moved back east, and he lives in California, only comes out and fishes the tournaments. Very, very rarely does he pre-practice anywhere. So, like, as good as he is, and he doesn't even, like, I mean, imagine if he had moved out here and everything. Imagine.
Why
I think
has he ever
would
talked about why he didn't?
I think he just loves, he loves
Yeah.
loves where he grew up. All their family, him and his wife are from there, and he had a lot of success early in his career financially, so he didn't have to move. Was probably another reason, but I think it's really impressive that he's fishing that well and has always been so consistent and never moved. There's only a handful of people you can say that have done that.
Yeah, that's a great point. Has Luke ever moved, Clausen, or has he still stayed out there the whole time?
I think he stayed. He might have had a Tennessee address or something for a little bit, but
That's what I thought.
that might have been tax reasons. We'd have
I
to
hear
get
you.
his CPA on the show to find out about that.
Let's talk about this cup. I mean, you're in it against the Wonder Boy, the Wonder Team, the Robinson and Gill team, and you kind of had a little West Coast vibe going on. This was like a weird cup because it was either a slugfest or an absolute grinder to get the job done. So kind of talk about how you and Brent worked your way through it and did a little. I mean, I don't feel like you did any West Coast stuff. I feel like you did some straight up old school redneck, deep South bass fishing to win this cup.
For the most part, we did, and that's what I was telling him after we won. I'm like, dude, could you believe we won a tournament together in Louisiana of all places? Like, that wouldn't be number one on the list that I would choose Ehrler and I to win at. But we're both versatile fishermen. We both fish really hard, and we're fishing really well together. We finished fourth last year at the OHIV Brownwood. We just missed the cut at the St. Clair River by just a few ounces, and we had the bites to make it, and we still had like 50-something pounds that day. So we had like a great day and just barely missed it. But pretty much every day we have fished together has been a great day. And he's just a lot of fun to fish with. I really enjoy it. So we started off at Caddo Lake. I had never been there. Brent had been there years ago, like a decade ago or 12 years ago, something like that. But the place is just an absolute maze. It's one of the craziest places I think I've ever fished, and I really want to go back and spend some more time there because it was cool. Have you been there, Matt, or no?
No, I've never. I'm not.
Dude.
I haven't really experienced Louisiana outside of the vaunted Red River.
So this is like 30 minutes north of the Red River. It's a big lake. It's like 30 to 40,000 acres, maybe 20, high 20s, somewhere in there. But it feels really big because it's just this big, open, flat, vast cypress system. It's got hydrilla and, hyacinth, lily pads, everything. Anyway, we kind of go to this area that Brent felt like, he's like, I think we're getting towards where we fished before. Yeah, man, that's what it looks like.
That's actually what it looks like.
It's the biggest maybe cypress forest in a lake in the world or something. There's something to it. I looked it up afterwards. Maybe you can find out real quick. But just a really cool place. I think the thing for Brent and I is we always, at least in the team events we've been in so far, we kind of struggle, like a lot of people, in the first period generally. Yeah, look how beautiful that is.
Holy cow, that looks like it's like some sci-fi thing.
Dude, it's like you're in another world, man.
That's what it looks like when you're out there fishing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. Super cool.
Okay.
We need to go sometime. That would be it would be the type of place that you would go with your boys and like spend a weekend or 3 or 4 days, and there's nothing else out there to do except go get lost fishing in cypress trees. Okay. Like, it's just cool. But anyway, we kind of struggle in our first periods, like a lot of people in these events, because you don't get any practice. Look at that. God, you're gonna keep me.
It looks like. I mean, I know they're doctored, but I mean, it looks like a fake, like one of those fake paintings where you're like, that place doesn't exist.
See if you can find that info about it being like the largest cypress tree forest or something like that. But um, anyway, we went out there the first period, got in the general zone where we felt like Brent had caught him before. But keep in mind, this is 10, 12 years ago. And then we just got to start fishing fast, just covering water, trying to find something that clued us in on something, and really didn't find it until the second period. We found a little spot where we saw some fish swimming on the edge of some pads in 4 feet of water, and we saw them blowing up. And so they were kind of schooling a little bit. We caught 4 or 5 there pretty quick, uh, just ahead of the cut line to start the third period. We fish around for like an hour and a half, come back to start the third period, and just absolutely throttle them. I think we caught 19 fish for 30 something, 39 pounds or something in 45 minutes. Like it was crazy. And Brent, I start with a vibe jig. Brent starts with a vibe jig. We catch a couple. Then he picks up a jerk bait. He starts smashing. I catch him on a top water, just throwing a minnow out there and just shaking it. Like they were just shaking it right under the surface. They were coming up and blowing up on it. It was really cool. So we make the cut there. The next round, we go over to this Cypress Black Bayou or something. I don't know. That's where Nick LeBrun lives. Thank God we weren't in his group.
So like this is the type of stuff where he learned like on Cross Lake to like bang big balsas off of the cypress knees and which cypress trees are hollowed out underneath and where the little depressions are and how he kicks everyone's ass on this stuff.
Yeah, I think Nick, I mean, I don't know. I didn't talk to him, but I think he probably fishes the Cypress Black because he lives right by it, and he probably fishes Caddo. And if you fish those two places, I think you're going to become a really good fisherman because they're pretty diverse.
Okay.
That second lake has a lot of docks, not a lot of bank cover. And Brent kind of carried us through that one. He caught some on a crankbait off the dam to get us going. And then, we were trying to scope, just not wanting to get killed that way. Basically, you got to keep it honest. And it just wasn't happening. So we started fishing some of the docks because that's the only cover on the bank. And Brent started jerkbaiting a few off the docks. And it was a cloudy day. So it was weird. They weren't like holding tight to the piles. They were just kind of roaming around these docks. And I finally pick up a drop shot and start pitching it like just in the middle of the dock, dude. Not next to the piling, just like throw it in the middle in between the pilings. And I start catching some on a drop shot and finally start contributing to the team. And so we end up winning that round. That was a knockout round. Again, very different than we fished at the first lake. And then, of course, at Cross Lake, we kind of had this feeling we were going to be on Cross. They tell you the wheels up time. That's the only information you get before you get to the lake is, hey, we're leaving at X time. And so we knew we had been leaving at 7:30 the previous 2 days, and then they said 7:50 or 7:55. So we felt like Cross Lake being the closest lake, that's where we were going to be. And, we just get out there and start fishing the first period, grinding around shallow with the crankbait. The water's really dirty. We fished the dam. Ehrler had actually had some success on that dam back in the sudden death rounds. He made it through in an hour and a half just cranking the dam. So the only experience he ever had there was just fishing on this dam. Because then he got to get his boat off the water. He never even fished anywhere else on the lake. But we did that. I caught a nice one 3.5 pounder. But man, we were leading after the first period with a 3.5 pounder. And I remember it was really cool because we're taking our break, getting re-rigged. And I'm like, dude, I need to hype Ehrler up. Like, I'm like, we're in the freaking lead right now with 3 pounds, 8 ounces. So I'm grabbing Brent by the shoulders. They probably didn't show this in his show, but I'm like, dude, we can win this thing, Brent. Like, let's go, man. Start doing some Brent Ehrler, SHIT, you know what? So start doing some of that Brent Ehrler stuff. So I was trying to get him jacked, and we start that second period. And the first place we go is a little rocky point. And I had a little old balsa bait on. Not going to say what it is, man, because it's been a really key thing for me just over the last 15 years. When it works, it works. When it doesn't, it doesn't. But this day it worked, and I picked that thing up and just started catching them. Like every little rocky, steeper point we came to, I just had so much confidence, like I was going to catch a fish. And when we start pulling away with the lead, I'm like, holy crap, like this can actually happen. Like Drew Gill's not going to beat us today, scoping docks. And Nick LeBrun, I don't know what he knows about this lake, but I feel like he knows everything in the world.
Wait, so question, is it that specific bait, or is it like that actual one single specific bait, or just that style brand type of bait?
I think it's that one specific bait.
Yeah, that's weird. It's weird how that's probably the only thing you can do like secret wise in today's day and age of live streaming and coverage and tournament coverage.
It just, I mean, dude, like Brent was, he's cranking too.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just there was something about the wood that day. And I think it's a mixture of like probably water temps, the type of cover they're on, and water clarity. All of that stuff really plays into the wood. So it's very rare when it really plays into it, in my opinion, where it's like, that is the deal. But when it is the deal, you just sometimes a plastic bait just can't keep up.
So how long had you had that specific bait? Like how long have you been toting around that specific bait in a box in your boat?
14 years. Dude,
do you remember when you got it?
Yeah, I do. Put it this way. I had 3 of them. I lost 2 of them that day in the tournament, which absolutely sucks, but it was worth it. But they were the last baits I put in my truck when I was packing, because I keep them on my wall, just hanging on my wall. And because I don't want them getting beat around in a box. Like if they're in my boat getting beat around in a box, I don't want that. So I just keep them on the wall, nice, always there. And I walked past them several times. I'm like, dude, I need to just put those in there. And the first 2 lakes, I did not catch them on it. But that last lake, that little dude came through. So
that's good stuff.
It was really fun to catch them like that, man. Like, we were right against the bank, just beating it down. Scope didn't matter. It was just fun. And Brent and I, we fished so well together where if one of us gets on one thing, just like him with the jerk bait at the second lake, he gets on that on the docks, and I start picking it apart with the drop shot behind him, like I'm a co-angler again, almost, but I'm up there fishing with him. And so we can both do, different things, and it seems to work well together. He caught a couple really key fish pitching a plastic to some seawalls, like halfway through the second period or beginning of the third, that really gave us some calmness, to just keep doing what we were doing, and we felt like we were on the right thing, and it ended up working out really well.
It also had to help, and like I kind of like the grinder. Like it had been a while since there had been a true grinder in a championship event like that, and then I think that was also really one of those deals where knowing what everyone else had was exceptionally beneficial, because that like just take the knowing what everyone else has and put that deal where, like, I mean, I was like driving on that championship day, but I remember looking like 2 hours in, and like I said, you'd caught like, was a 3-1 or 3-11 or something like that. And I was like, that's it. Like, but I would imagine like, if you didn't know that with the guys that were in that final round, you guys would have been like, all right, we got to scramble.
We would have thought we were down by 15 pounds. Or 20 pounds, after the first period. So that was really nice, and it was a grinder, man. I mean, Nick LeBrun, to be honest, I think Brent and I, we never said it until the end of the tournament after we won, but he's like, yeah, I was expecting we were going to get second. I was like, dude, so was I. I thought Nick was going to just blow us away, But like, you want to fish hard and fish to win, but when a guy has, that kind of knowledge of a place and no practice for anybody else, it's like. But, he hasn't fished there in a long time either. So, not taking anything away from Nick. If he had any bit of practice there at all, or maybe no knowledge, he probably would have smoked us. So that was the big one I caught off the dam, a 3-8.
Yeah. So question here. So like the way this is doing, let's do some old school team breakdown here. So is Brent throwing a different bait, like a little on like a different drop, like where the rock kind of ends, and then you're throwing a shallower bait, so you're not like just break down like how you guys are fishing this to where you're not on top of each other and you're making the most out of every cast.
Yeah, so I'm fishing up there 1 to, I would say, 3 feet, and Brent's fishing like that 3 to 4.5 foot zone. So he is throwing out a little bit deeper on the deeper rocks, and this is the start of the day, so we're trying to get a idea for what's going on. But this is the first fish we catch. It came up, I would say 2 feet of water up shallow on the rocks. And that's the thing, with those wood crankbaits, they're very buoyant, and you can run them into stuff and stop it and not get, it won't get hung, like it'll back away from the cover. And that's why that thing started playing. Don't be pausing it on that crankbait.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to get it back.
See what you're doing, dude.
Everyone knows what it is. You can't. Those are $500 crankbaits.
I don't know if they're that much, but there's a lot of them that are made. They're really hard to find, and there's a lot of different models, So yeah. This is a specific model.
Yeah, there ain't any new ones coming out. We'll say that.
Not anytime soon. That's for sure.
But no, so that I think it's interesting to see how well you guys work together in the boat. Like Robinson and Gill work together, which I think it's really hard when you've got 2 scopers in the front. Like it's either a nightmare or it's a beautiful thing to watch. And like they've made it work, like mainly on electronics. But you said at the very beginning of this, you said you and Brent fish really well together. Describe for me in a team tournament situation what fishing well together means.
I think what it means is like we're both capable of doing a lot of things. And when one person starts to, it's not even a conversation that you have, but it's like, I started catching them on the crankbait and I just took over the trolling motor, right? Because I felt very confident. Brent could tell I was feeling very confident, and he was totally fine with giving up the trolling motor to me and letting me run that thing for a little bit to see what I could do with that crankbait. And he's not trying to catch the fish that I'm fishing for. If you watch Brent, he's always making a different cast than me, behind me, and same thing with me. I'm not trying to catch those fish. So, our baits aren't following each other up. We're presenting them to new fish constantly. And, that was so cool, dude. It had been a minute since both of us won a tournament. It was a Toyota for me a couple years ago, and Brent, last time he won was one of these cups a few years ago. So that was really cool winning at the end of the day. But I think fishing well together is when you don't even have to have the conversations and you're making the adjustments together, and you're having the conversation like, man, I think this crankbait, obviously there's something to it on these steeper rock, blah, blah, blah. But you just move around the boat, kind of synchronized, I guess, where things just start to work the way they're going to work. And, Brent took over the boat the first and the second day, because he had, he got the things going on, and I'm get right behind him, try and figure out a different way to catch him behind him. So it's fun. I wish we could do a few more of them together because they are a lot of fun.
Would you be okay with banking a portion of your career, how you feed your family, how you cash your checks on team tournaments, and not so heavily on individual tournaments in the future?
I wouldn't go that far.
Why not?
I still love individual competition. Like that is one thing I truly do love is the individual competition. Like where you can't blame anybody at the end of the day except yourself. And, and I've done it for so long now. I don't want to just give that up, but I would say 75% of the time, if it was individual, 25% team, I'd be good with that.
Would you be good? Throwing a $5,000 entry fee down in a team tournament to fish for $100,000 or to fish for $200,000?
Yeah. If you have the right partner and the scheduling works, that's the only problem with that team deal that's coming out now. I would probably give it a shot, but man, just scheduling wise with kids and family and stuff now, I just can't. I can't be gone like I used to. And I don't want to say it's not as important for me to chase tournaments like that hardcore anymore, but really at the end of the day, it's not. I have to be able to balance family and work, and that I've said it before. That's the only hard part about fishing to me is just being gone from family. But there's plenty of other people that have a job that they're gone from family too. So other than that, it's a great job.
What's the best scheduling for the team series? Do you like the 4 cups in the fall when it's the off season, or would you like to see maybe 2 BPTs cup, 2 BPTs cup, 2 BPTs cup, Red Crest, and then the fall there's 1 cup. It's the cup championship, and it's kind of, you get the 2 championships for it. So now you get a sight fishing cup, a summer cup, a fall cup, and then a winter cup or a championship.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. You should go apply for a job at MLF, dude. Start making some stuff happen.
That would not go over well, I'm assuming. Are you okay with not fishing out of your boat, with not your electronics, with the cup sponsors, or this is ideal. This is a perfect world. In a perfect world, would you have your own boat, and then you and Brent would have a team boat, and as a team, you would be able to get your own sponsors. You'd be able to have it rigged out the way you wanted to have it rigged out. It would be a boat that would be your team boat that, and I understand how this works with MLF, with they get the team sponsor for the team series, but I'm talking big picture here. I'm talking, I think at this point we've decided you're always going to fish for your own money in high level tournament bass fishing. The no entry fees, high payout thing hasn't really worked that well. So are you cool with losing potential sponsorship with that and fishing out of someone's boat with a trolling motor that you're not used to and a forward facing and electronics that you're not used to for the sponsorship payout there? Or would you rather kind of have your own rig, so to speak?
I would just say, I guess I kind of like it the way we have it right now. Like I'm not the biggest fan of not fishing out of my boat at all. But if I'm going to do it and be with a team guy and he's not fishing out of his boat, I think that it's kind of a good compromise. I would say it's a bit of a stretch. Like if we had our own team deal and do our own sponsors and all that, yeah, big picture, that would be probably amazing. But the way MLF is doing it right now, it's pretty good. But I love my Phoenix and I love my Yamaha, so it's hard for me to, it's hard. I don't want to give that up at all. Mm-hmm. But to give it up a couple times for a team event where, you're helping, I guess you're still fishing for decent money. We don't pay any, if you want to call it, we don't pay
15
any
grand,
fees.
15 grand.
We didn't pay anything to be in those events.
Well, you get $3,500 show up money. So you roll in, you suck, you go home after the first day, they give you $3,500.
Yeah, now with us going down to 50 anglers, you're pretty much guaranteed two team events. There might be 2 guys that aren't in 2, but 24, there's 24 guys at every event. So
I would love to see the numbers. I would love to behind the scenes see the numbers between a regular season MLF Bass Pro Tour event and one of these team events. I just can't see in my mind how the team events don't hold people's attention longer than just an everyday MLF tournament. But I also understand they're not as publicized. They're at the end of the year. People are hunting. It's not at that beginning of the spring thing. But it just, to me, is so much more engaging than the single person events. I mean, that's just me as a straight up fan watching it.
Well, there's so much more discussion going on, right? Like, it's not even, just like you said, like, even though that very last day was a grinder, from what I heard from a lot of people that tuned in and watched, like, people don't mind grinding events, especially when they hear what's going on in your head as you're talking through it and trying to figure it out. And, when you got guys working together, you have guys working together, discussing their strategy and everything. I just think that makes for great content leading up to a catch, right? So, like, you're not back and forth, catch here, catch there, catch there. You're hearing how the guys are processing and breaking it down. And I see this comment, and I agree. I actually wish they would do a better job promoting the team events, because I really do think they're pretty special events. They're a lot of fun. I'd like to see maybe a little bit more money in them, for winning and whatever, but I'm not going to complain about it. That's 15 grand I didn't have, the week before. So, and 3,500 to show up. Like you said, I'm making a little bit of money either way.
I mean, to have a tournament where you guys had it and have East Texas legend, $1 million man Todd Faircloth in the boat with Nick LeBrun with all the marbles on it. They're not holding anything back. They're trying to catch fish on this. You get to see him work cypress. You get to see him work, fish these lakes, bounce ideas off of each other, talk it. Like, you ain't getting that with Todd Faircloth in the boat by himself. I can guarantee it. You're not getting that with Nick. Yeah. Nick will chat a little bit more, but like to watch those two guys and the history and just the little nuances and things like that, and then actually talk out decisions on Cypress in Louisiana, like that type of stuff. Like, dude, that's a home run. And then to watch Gil and Robinson try to figure out how to use technology to catch fish in non-traditional ways on non-traditional venues and different water clarities and different conditions and different depths and how they do all that. You don't get that. To watch two, I'll say it, West Coast legends in yourself and Brent Ehrler work together and do, like, the Team Series is where it's at. I think the Team Series is where it's at. I see it heading just like the PBR. I've said this when I had Wheeler on. I've said this when I've had Odd Defo and Andy Montgomery on. The teams, when they line up, are just as fun when they're a total shit show as they are when they're guys that are working really well together. Actually, they're more fun when they're a total disaster.
Yeah, I agree. It makes good entertainment either way.
And it, I don't know. It makes sense to me. I love it. I'm glad you like it. More amped for that, and I've been on that bandwagon for like 2 or 3 years.
I'm stoked to have that trophy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I just wish there was more on the line. Like, it's nice that you got the trophy, you got 15 grand, but if you lose, whatever, you got your pay. I want the intensity where, you've got that fish on and your partner's trying to wrangle it at the side of the boat and you're like, grab the damn fish, because your season depends on it, or $100,000 depends on it, or a championship depends on it. I want it where instead of making a decision, you're like, oh, well, it didn't work out this time. Yeah, I want it to be where the guy, you're looking at Brent in the eyes and you're like, all right, dude, we got one decision to make and our freaking season depends on this decision. What are we freaking doing? And you got like that, you put money into it, you put more prestige, but like that is the next level of this. The only thing I don't like about it is it's a little too relaxed at times.
Yeah, that's a money thing. It's no different than if you and I went golfing and I'm on 18 and the putt is for $20 versus $200. I'm going to be way more shaky and way more nervous about a $200 putt than a $20 putt. They're both fun. Yeah. But the $200 putt is definitely more meaningful.
At least do one, like find some way to get the one where it gets it. You can really cater it with the small number of teams on the lake. I mean, you think you can go to a lot of places with 50 individual guys. When you're putting 5, 6, 7 team guys on a lake and paring it down, or 4 or 5 teams, my God, you can go to 2,000 acre fisheries.
Yeah. Well, we did. That's
what I'm saying.
That second lake was tiny. Maybe the answer is, I haven't thought about this, but it just came to my mind. But if you actually took like the top 4 guys, your championship teams from the 4 team events, and then you have a championship team event. So like you are really, and then the championship team event actually has a great, amazing payout.
Yes.
Then it's like every fish matters. The points matter to get through to the next round because you want to make it to the team championship.
Yes.
That's
like
be really
$100
cool.
grand.
Yeah, if they did.
Or the team championship gives you a 2-year exemption in the BPT. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. Whatever. Yeah,
I feel like you have some pull. Your buddies with Wheeler. Give him a shout out. Be like, hey, here's what needs to happen.
I don't have any pull. I'm a no pool guy, dude. I got away from all that. I was on that angler board. I told you that years ago. I got off that after 1 year. That was the worst fishing year of my life.
Now you want to talk about, so you got, what's your schedule like? I know I told you 40 minutes. We're 40 minutes in. We haven't even got into the spices.
Breezy gonna kill you.
Is she?
No, it's all good.
You're good with the spices. I can't pump the spices for the first 5 minutes and then not dive into the grilling.
I know. I hear you. You want me to
Is there
show
any
you?
fishing stuff?
three.
Is there any fishing stuff that you have a burning desire to get off of your chest on BTL here before we move on? This is your one and only chance. Controversial, non-controversial. You want to plug anything of Berkeley that squeaks or plops or gurgles or wiggles? Now's your chance.
Nah, dude. I mean, obviously, I think it was really cool what we did at Berkeley this year. Is they didn't go to ICAST. That was a big deal. Everybody's like, oh no, what in the world? And then this fall we drop all these new baits and a lot of really sick baits, that chop block and of course the Screaming Chapo and all the new buzz baits, a lot of cool stuff, flux gill. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun. That was a great way to work with a company outside of a fishing show and have some tasks like on your plate, things that you need to go out, content you need to capture for the promotion of all that stuff in the fall. That was a lot of fun. Had a good time with that.
You could tell that the folks at Berkeley had some rather large conference calls and group meetings, and we're like, hey, here's what we're doing, and here's when we're doing it, and it was a very coordinated. It was a well executed marketing strategy for the drop of that kind of group of
there's some really, I feel like there's just some really smart people working over there, passionate people. And man, I've been with them almost 20 years or something now. 2007 was the very first time I started working with them as a co-angler. So I know that's crazy.
What was in 2007, do you remember, like, did they drop anything? Like, what was the first, like, hot new bait that you were like, okay, like, I got to get on and impress Berkeley by catching them on this new bait?
Bait back then that was really hot. I feel like that was right around when the Chigger Craw had just come out, maybe a little bit before that. But the big thing at that time was the 100% fluorocarbon had just came out.
Okay.
And the first Revo had just came out in 2007. And that first Revo, man, that really was a big deal for them. And then Veritas rods and, everything else started following. So, but, back then, I think Berkeley, I felt like they struggled a little bit bait-wise. And then, obviously, I think over the last 7-8 years, 5 to 6 for sure. But, probably 2018-ish, 2019, they've come a long way on baits and just making some incredible stuff right now. So,
I would say, when you got on there 7, 8, 9, those were kind of like the glory days of the FLW co-anglers. Would you agree?
It was, yes, 100%.
I'm not.
You could actually make money as a co-angler.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to get into numbers here, but I'm curious. Do you feel like at the peak of your co-anglering, you were making more cash money through sponsorships than the majority of full-time professional anglers and the front of the boat are making in 2025?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that much, but at the time, dude, it's 2007, 2008. I'm a co-angler. I have no responsibilities. I'm 21 years old. Like 40 grand, 30 grand goes a long way.
Does that include? So that's not including entry fees. Like that's on top of the entry fees. Like you were clearing.
No. I think actually making money sponsorship wise, I was probably only making like 10 to 15 grand.
But you had no boat, you had no gas.
No really
insurance, no
expense.
expenses.
Yeah, like nothing. So, and then I was winning some events as a co-angler, so that money was going a long ways, profiting 40, 50, 60 grand back then.
Who had the best FLW co-angler sponsorship cash-wise? Not like on the water, because you have to remember, like Scott Martin was there for a while, Matt Airy was there for a while, Blaylock, Shuffield, like there were a couple other guys that there's one dude who always had like his hair was always done and stuff. There were a couple guys that like there was like a group of like 10 or 15. Like who had out of the co-anglers who cleared the most before making a cast sponsorship wise out of the back of the boat?
I don't know. I don't think there was that much really to be made. Like,
did the team deals kind of limit that? Like if you were on a co-angler team deal, it kind of
you just got your entries paid, and then maybe you got a little bit of expense money. So it wasn't like you're sitting there raking it in as a co-angler out of the back of the boat, but you could make a little bit of money back then, profit-wise. The payouts were good too. You were paying, or you had no entry if you had some kind of team sponsorship, and you're winning 25 grand or I won a Stren in 2006 before I had any of those deals. And I remember I paid a $325 entry, and I won a 19-foot Ranger without a motor on it and $5 grand. But I was able to buy an outboard at the time for like 10 grand. So I added another 5, and that was how I had my first, paid off boat when I was 20 years old.
Are there current or former professional anglers who started out co-angling in those FLW days who have won events from the front of the boat based strictly on what they saw on the back of the boat from different fisheries? Like I said, you can go as deep into this as you want. I gave it to you. I gave it to you as a yes or no question. It could be you. It could be anyone else, to where you look at it and you go, that son of a gun. I know that Jimmy Houston took him there at Pickwick on day 2, and he freaking went right back to it and hosed him and won himself $100 grand. Is that like a thing? Like, are there guys who like have kind of maybe, gone back to the juice since that guy that took him there wasn't there? And that's, I feel like the way you laugh that you are 100% thinking of some specific tournaments that you don't want to dive into.
No, I'm laughing because you're always digging for some deep, dark stuff that you think is
It's
out
not
there,
deep, dark stuff. This is my job, Justin Lucas. I do 200 BTL shows a day. My job is to bring, entertain, educate, and engage. Like, you can't hold that against me.
I don't think, in my mind, if you were a co-angler and you're just trying to go back to spots that people had showed you from years before and expect it to be better and beat them and win tournaments and stuff, that I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm just saying, you go to Kentucky Lake, you draw Randy Haynes on day 2, and he goes and cranks up a 25-pound sack. I feel like 5 years later, when you're in the front of the boat, you might go back and idle that stretch. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens some. But not that much.
All right, we're chat with Justin Lucas, who just won the biggest trophy in the history of fishing, and it's just a Team Series Cup and 15 grand. Do you get to keep that thing? Oh, is that it right there?
I got the trophy back there. Yeah.
Is it as big in person as it looks like in the pictures?
Yeah, it's big, dude. Well, that's
an Elite Series.
Yeah.
And the cup's what, a foot taller?
No, probably 6 or 7 inches.
Can you actually drink out of the cup?
You could, if you wanted to. I need to pour an Athletic Brew in there.
Ooh, there's that sponsor. But you still rolling with them?
Get that thing up. Heck yeah, I am. Dude, that's a great sponsorship. That's the type of stuff I love to have when you're a customer before you work with them. So, yeah, they're great.
You gonna have an athletic wrap next year?
No.
Oh, you're still sticking with the clean red and black and white. I
love my Abu wrap, man. Can't change that.
All right, we really are going to take a break now, and when we come back, quick segment. We're going to get into some. I would venture to say you've not heard of half a dozen of these, but unlike you, who hides secret tournament-winning crankbaits, I do not hide my spices from the people. Is BTL
Fair.
BTL on a Tuesday with Justin Lucas. We'll be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
At Beatdown Outdoors, we know you depend on your gear to hold up in any condition. We built for that. We test for that. In fact, we pride ourselves in that. Because we know when the time comes to test your gear, you aren't going to take it easy, so we won't. We build premium, made-in-the-USA products that you can rely on in the moments when your equipment should be the last thing on your mind. I fish in some of the worst elements across the country. Spring, that's a giant, dude. Summer, oh my gosh. Hi, look at that thing. Winter, it's so cold. And fall, got a big one, that's awesome.
Being comfortable and staying dry is the only option.
AFCO, any fish, any water.
When I'm in a tournament, conditions are constantly changing and every second matters. With the Deep Dive app, I can instantly pull up all the current lake conditions all in one spot. So no more looking at weird government websites. In just one quick glance, I have water clarity, water level, wave forecast. It's all right there in the Deep Dive app. Download the Deep Dive app and get all the tools you need to put together an awesome tournament.
Welcome back. BTL on a Tuesday with Justin Lucas. Justin Lucas, do you look at weird government websites?
Do I look at what?
Weird government websites?
No.
Is that because you look at the Deep Dive app?
No. What are you talking about?
You didn't hear that last commercial?
No, I was reading the comments.
It's now Dane going, no more looking at weird government websites. We put it all together in the Deep Dive app, which they do. It's a badass app. I don't know if you're...
Maybe I need to get it.
Are you not? Are you hooked up with any of the apps? Yeah, I don't want to step on any of your toes or anything.
No,
but I would.
No. I don't know about the Deep Dive app.
Off the record.
Well, you're on the record, so go ahead.
And they sponsor the show. But
okay.
Other than that, I legitimate. I'll talk to you off air about it, but I would legitimately check that out.
Okay.
It
cool.
like combines water clarity, wind, water temp. And then they just put in flow charts. There's tidal charts on it. And it's all literally like right freaking there.
Deep Dive app.
The Deep Dive app.
All right. I need to hear more about that.
It's I said on the show the other day, I said I turned down a lot of apps and CBD deals because I didn't want to compromise the integrity of BTL. And then I finally did the Deep Dive app because I actually use it all the time.
What about CBD?
I have tried the cream on my knee when I tweaked it getting up off of the couch to go to the fridge one time.
Oh my God.
But other than that, are you a CBDer?
No. Oh,
I got like a free bottle from one of the CBDers that was like, hey, and I don't know whether it was a placebo effect or not, but it legitimately actually seemed to help.
Oh, that's good.
But I've never done like the gummies or anything like that. It was like just the cream.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, you want to see these spices or what?
Yeah. All right. So what's your favorite? Like I can't peg you as like a specific type of griller. Like you don't seem to fall into a genre because you like to get your hands on the big cuts, but you also like to do, like a premium smaller steak. And then you'll mix it up with pork, like all sorts of stuff. So like if you, like we do in fishing, like are you a power fisherman, a finesse fisherman, whatever? Like what type of griller or meat man would you consider yourself to be?
I don't know. Definitely I would say not a brisket guy. Probably not a big, long smoking, true, I don't know, probably there's Coop right there.
Yeah.
Or Decker. But probably just not into I don't have a lot of time to do the big briskets, the big pork shoulders, pork butts, that kind of stuff. But I do like a prime rib. That's probably my favorite big piece of meat to cook just because it's so good and it doesn't take 8, 9, 18 hours. It's a 4-hour, 5-hour process and turns out really great, really well.
I'm intimidated by like a prime rib. Like I see him at the Costco. I see him at that.
You should be. It's so easy, dude. Super easy. Like, here's all you have to do. You season it the night before. You set it in the fridge, seasoned up on a wire rack so it gets air all around it. And then the next day before you go put it on, you turn your smoker up to 225, 250. And or 200, somewhere in there, whatever your flavor is. And then you just set that thing out of the fridge for a little while, let it get closer to room temp, put it on the smoker at that temperature for 4 hours until your internal temp is like 115. And then all I do after that is I turn the broil all the way up on the oven inside the house.
That's how you get the crust on it.
So then we just you make your own butter. You take some, garlic, thyme, rosemary, put it in the butter, melt it all together. And then you just spread it all over, baste it all over the top, and then put it in the broiler for like 8, 9, 10 minutes. And you just reverse seared a big piece of prime rib.
And I'm going to have to try that.
It's simple. Like, it's really easy. Way easier than a brisket to me.
Yeah, no, I for some reason it like has intimidated me. So I'll try.
So,
all right, your three favorite seasoning. Okay, so that is the Zoom 6-inch. That is the 5-inch green pumpkin Yamamoto of seasonings.
And it's really hard to beat.
That's a green pumpkin Cinco of seasonings.
This thing is really hard to beat. If
Montreal
I don't know what
steak
else,
seasoning for the MP3 listeners.
If I don't know what else to get, I'm just going for that. I do. And I have a friend that's a really good cook back in California. My buddy Andy. And man, every time we get together, we cook some really nice meats. And most of the time, it's right there. I do love this one. The Kinder's Blend. That's a great one too. It's a great deal at Costco. I think you get this whole thing for like $6, $7. So that's a great deal. And then I actually don't have the one that I like the most. I need to get some. Cooper loves it too, and we ran out the other day. But I think it's called Honey Hog, but it's the meat church. And what's really cool, I don't know if I ever told you the story about that. We were in Destin a couple years ago. And the guy that owns and runs Meat Church, his name's Matt Pittman. And so anyway, we're hanging out in the water with the kids. I'm having a little adult beverage, just hanging out. And I see this guy with a backwards hat. And I'm like, I just see him on the beach hanging out with some people. I'm like, that dude really looks like the Meat Church guy. Like, that looks like Matt. And he turns around with his backwards hat and it had a Meat Church. He had a Meat Church hat on. I'm like, dude, don't be a sissy. Like, just go say hi to this guy. I was, kind of starstruck because I've watched so many of his cooking stuff on YouTube and followed him on Instagram and everything. And anyway, I just go over there and say hello. And of course, had to break the ice with, hey, I know Kevin Van Dam. That was kind of my thing. Hey, Matt, I know you don't know me, but I fish against Kevin Van Dam. So he's like, oh, really? And then we start talking. And anyway, we still talk, through text and stuff here a couple years later. He's a really cool dude. I'm actually hoping to go to his place in Waxahachie, Texas. We've got a couple of Texas events this year, so I want to swing by his store and check it out. But definitely like the Meat Church stuff. He makes some really great seasonings.
You're still paying full price on that stuff? He hasn't sent you a care package?
He sent me one little box after I met him, but no, I'm happy to go buy it and support him, man. He's a cool guy.
That would be a
Honey Hog.
That would be a sick
I haven't had the
wrap.
Honey Hog hot, but Honey Hog is pretty sure that's what it is.
Dude, a Honey Hog wrap?
That Honey
Hog wrap would be filthy.
It's good stuff, dude. He makes great stuff, puts out great content. That guy's legit. I saw somewhere recently he was ranked
Holy Trinity.
He was ranked number 2 or 3 of all barbecue influencers in the United States. He's big.
That's big league.
Yeah, he's way above us, dude.
Oh, way above me. I don't know. You're pretty big.
No.
You're top 5, dude.
I only brought 3. That's all I got.
No, I meant when you said size-wise, I know you only brought 3. I said you're a top 5 guy who has your stuff together, fishing at the top tour with 50 on it, non-endemic and endemic sponsor deals and the resume. Like you're it. Like Skeet's retired, Kevin's retired.
I'll tell you the same thing.
You're a top 5 guy, man.
Well, I don't feel that way. So
Well,
I feel like
I think everyone would. I mean, you can't argue with that.
I still I think that's a good thing, but I stay hungry, and I feel like next year is never a gimme, or I don't, just feel like I never deserve to be out there. Like I got to keep working for it. So I think that's a good thing.
I think that's what a lot of the top guys are, never complacent.
Yeah.
Never resting on their laurels. They're always hungry, and it's not until it's over that they look back and we're like, oh, damn, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's also a double-edged sword because you don't appreciate it at the time where you get to reap the rewards. So it's like the hunger for achievement kind of cancels out the appreciation of the journey, you know?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. There's probably some things I could savor more, but I don't know. I've been working since I was 13 at a pumpkin patch. So like working hard is in my blood. My wife tells me I got to slow down a little bit, but I'm trying to find that balance of.
Good. And I appreciate it today. I know you're home. I see the kids in the background, the golden, or the black, the shepherd.
German Shepherd. Did she show up?
Yeah, she did a drive-by. Looks terrifyingly intelligent.
Delta.
Delta's
her name.
All right, I'm going to run through a couple things. So this is the most recent one that I found that I really like, and I was intimidated, and I didn't buy it because of the color, because I like a good crust, and I'm like, it looks charcoaly, but it's the Hardcore Carnivore Beef Black.
Okay.
Hardcore Carnivore Black.
I was going to get my phone to write it down, but I need to write these down real quick.
It's black charcoal seasoning. It's the ultimate rub for beef and red meat. It is shockingly good. Like the color of it just kind of deterred me from it at first.
Hardcore black.
Hardcore Carnivore Black beef seasoning.
Okay.
And I haven't tried it on the brisket or the barbecue meats, but a little bit on your steak. The thing that I found is you need to dry your steak before you put this on it. Otherwise, it'll kind of seep in and change the color. But if you dry it and then you put it on a really hot surface, it'll create a crust on it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. So you kind of have the Montreal, was it just the Montreal steak?
Just Montreal steak. Yeah.
Montreal steak. This is my version of the Montreal steak. This is the Daddy Henkel's all-purpose.
Daddy Henkel's.
So
it's like a glide bait that's hard to find.
Yeah, here in
Daddy
Oklahoma, like you get it. It comes with a little marinade thing. You can get it in independent. That's like the Montreal steak of Oklahoma. Everybody has a bottle of Daddy Henkel's in there. If you don't know what to put it on, if you don't know what, it's got really aromatic, a lot of garlic in it. If you don't know what seasoning to use, Daddy Henkel's is the way to go. All right.
I'm writing all these down like I'm taking notes in a class.
All right. This one also, the color kept me from buying it for a couple years, but I ended up having to try it. It's just the Buc-ee's Texas Roundup steak seasoning. It's really freaking red. I'm not a fan of like the red paprika heavy steak seasonings, but the next time you go buy a Buc-ee's, just pick up a jar of the Texas Roundup, and it's shockingly good. Like I go through.
You're a weird color guy, dude. I didn't realize that.
I like
about
it.
These colors.
I really am. Now we're gonna get into some interesting stuff. So, every once in a while, I like a little bit of spice, like a kind of like a Cajun steak or a Cajun chicken or anything.
Yep.
This Pit Boss Cowboy Butter is a top 3 for me right now. This thing is going on chicken thighs. It's going on my pork chops before I put a glaze on it. I'm putting a little bit on my steaks because I'm mixing and matching a little bit. But that is a Walmart find. But it is in that outdoor, the kind of like outdoor grilling section, like the Walmart will have. It's not outside, but it's like where the checkout is that leads to the garden center.
Yeah.
Like kind of there is a plethora of badass seasonings in that section that's not in the normal spice section at the Walmart that gets massively overlooked.
Sweet.
So the Cowboy Butter. If I'm going through too many here.
No, we're going to Walmart today. So
all right, this one you have to order. This is JD Murray's. He actually owned a kayak shop in Illinois. I hope he still listens to the show.
That guy sent me some a long time ago, dude.
Yeah.
That was great stuff.
The Magic Mystery Rub in the sweet and spicy is an absolute secret weapon because it's got some brown sugar in it. It's got salt, pepper, chili powder, garlic, some other spices, but it generates a flavor that steak connoisseurs have never tasted before. And they're like, I've given this to guys and they're like, whoa, what is that? And I'm like, it's JD Murray's. He does a sweet and savory. He does a sweet and spicy. It's JDMURY''S. He does a sweet and savory, a sweet and spicy. He does a Texas beef, and then he came out with a new citrus one.
Yeah. He sent me 3 or 4 of those years ago. He's been doing that for years.
Yeah. And
I need to buy some more of that.
I ordered some more recently. Because what'll happen is after a couple years, I mean, I think he just makes it. I know I talked to him. He's like, it's such a pain in the ass. He said, like, to go through like getting it all approved and everything in there for allergies and all that. But like sometimes it'll get a little, if you have it for, don't have because I bought a bottle that doesn't, you have to like kind of shake it up every now and then to keep it nice.
Yeah.
I would have, that's a top 3 for me is the JD Murray's.
Yeah.
This one is impossible to get. This is Paul, who does the Bass and Brews podcast. He makes this stuff called beard dust. He sends it to me in a U.S. postal mail box in a Ziploc bag, and then I put it in my own. I have no idea what's in there. It's absolutely phenomenal, and he could probably retire and make a living on this stuff.
That's great. Show us one we can't get.
Yeah, it's the it's Bass and Brews. You can hit up Bass and Brews and say,
Bass and Brews. Hey, we need the beard dust. Okay.
All right. This is a cheat code for fish, and this is my most recent. So when I was in Alaska this summer, there's a company called the Alaska Salt Company, and this is called Spit Spice, and this is salt from the Homer Spit in Alaska, salmon belly rub, Alaska Salt Company Spit Spice. Hand harvested Alaskan sea salt. So you get a little bit of kind of ambiance there, maybe a little bit of placebo effect with it.
Makes it taste better for sure.
Cane sugar, spit salt, black pepper, smoked paprika, cayenne, ginger, onion powder, garlic, fennel. It is absolutely phenomenal. It's sweet on any sort of salmon or pork here. The sweet and spicy blend features our unrefined sea salt, spit salt created in hand on the Homer Spit in Alaska. Definitely get some Alaska Salt Company Spit Spice.
Nice.
And then 2 most recent additions that are the last ones, the Deep Lake Little Bees Lemony Heat. This is a buffalo lemon pepper sauce or a buffalo lemon pepper spice. Phenomenal. Absolutely. I got that right there. That was just poor podcasting right there. That was a deep inhale of.
Bro, that has to be a cut for social media, dude.
Oh my God. Really good on chicken would get it together over there, Justin. Act like I told you. Just you can't be a top 5 professional.
Oh my God, dude.
Deep Lake Little Bees lemony buffalo lemon pepper. Great on fish, great on chicken, great on any of that stuff. And then the Frenzy fish fry. If you do fried fish, this is called fry dust. So after you're done, instead of putting salt, pepper, wine, I squeeze a little bit of lemon or lime on top of the fish, and then you hit it with the fry dust. Now, I know for the healthy type like you don't really fry that fish that much, but the Frenzy fish fry dust is phenomenal on your fried crappie, perch, walleye, spawning largemouth, trophy smallmouth, stuff like that.
Dude. Oh my God. You're getting out of control. You're snorting spices and talking about eating spawning bass. This is bad.
All right. I'm going to let you go. I appreciate the hour. You got anything else?
No, dude. Always love coming on. Thank you.
Thanks. Congrats on the win. That is that was pretty cool, dude, especially the way you did it with old school with your boy from the West Coast.
Appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right. See ya. Yeah, I probably could have narrowed that down. To 4 or 5. but it is what it is. All right, we'll take our final break. When we come back, kind of roll through what we have going on for the rest of the week here at BTL. It's BTL on a Tuesday. Thank you, Justin Lucas, for doing that. We'll be back right after this.
As a professional angler, there's only one thing that connects you to your paycheck. Probably the most crucial part to tournament bass fishing. I use Sunline because they have a line for every application. Shooter, FX2, All Might, super light line, big stuff, big sticks. Sunline has you covered.
Sharp as can be. Super strong, super durable.
Really good penetration.
Thinner and stronger.
Catch fish after fish.
I want to make sure that I'm using the best stuff possible.
World's finest hook.
World's finest hook.
Gamakatsu. World's finest hook.
Hey guys, Brian Schmidt here with Spro. I'm going to talk to you about the confidence I have in the equipment I use. You know, I have a charter boat business back home in Maryland. We fish for saltwater fish, and I also fish the Bassmasters Elite Series. So I keep my lights on by fishing. I have to have a lot of confidence in the equipment I use. Spro has me covered from head to toe, saltwater, freshwater, everything in between. A lot of high-end quality product. Spro has you covered.
Your early morning mentality is your every hour mentality. All gas, no brakes. Focus, purpose, power. Destined for the water, but confident everywhere else. A calming buzz before the storm, truth of nature itself. You can't catch lightning in a bottle. There's a limit out there, but it's not with your gear. Unrelenting power delivery. Unparalleled weight savings. Keeping you on the water, whether you run a 9.9 or outscoping your best 5. In this rare air, there's power in the silence. It's a mindset, thinking only of the things that matter and freeing your mind from the things that you trust.
Before there were hashtags, there were handshakes and shared stories. They gave us confidence to make our first cast and chase our dreams. They taught us to fish, and in the process, taught us about life. They taught us that success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about lifting others up. The future isn't just about selling tackle. It's about 3 simple words. Let's go fishing. Here's to the original influencers.
All right, wrapping things up here on a Tuesday. Tomorrow night is an evening show. The Best on Tour awards, Jordan Babcock, Dave Rush. We have Best on Tour this week coming out later. And then tonight, a special edition of CTL Crappie Talk Live. We've kind of had 2 episodes there where you've gotten to see Zeke and I on the water catching the fish. You see how the long rods work, how the tungsten weights, the 32nd ounce jigs, the 8th ounce 1 standard jigs, the whole 9 yards, vertically dropping on them, using electronics, the power brakes, the types of fisheries, the whole 9 yards. So I'm going to actually sit down in the boat then and go through all of the details. Quite frankly, we haven't had an opportunity to film with the weather dropping all of a sudden into the 20s and then it blowing for the last week, the Thanksgiving weekend there. So what we are set up for, if you've been watching, listening, paying attention to CTL, which does not interfere with any BTL program, is just simply free additional content that is made available to the bass fishing viewers who want to learn how to catch crappie more better, is every Tuesday night for the entire winter. If you want to get out and chase some of these monsters and you're in that belt kind of from the Carolinas all the way up past through Texas where it doesn't freeze, but it gets cold. You have small or big kind of muddy fisheries and waters. So, and then we're live Thursday with Uncle Frank. Oh, Uncle Frank is previewing a new color drop on Thursday on the show. But yeah, tomorrow night, no show, tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening, Best on Tour awards ceremony or awards announcement, however you want to do that, for all 19 of the categories. So that should be cool. And I think that's all we got. Big shout out to Justin. Yeah, I would have said that I emptied my pantry with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spices. Like, you know, some guys just have way too many like crankbaits or jerk baits, and you're like, hey, dude, like, why do you carry 7 boxes of jerk baits? You know, like, I don't know. That's how I am with cooking spices. It's an issue. It's not a problem. All right, that's all we got for today. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow night. See ya.